Paul Fence, better known as JC, a fitting name friends say since his birthday fell on Christmas Day. But a month before he was to celebrate his next birthday, JC died. He was a homeless man living in Huntsville and died early Sunday morning in a car fire. An incident the Table Soup Kitchen Foundation believes could have been prevented had the men's shelter been open. Founder Heather Berg says opening the shelter has been 3 years in the making, and there have been many roadblocks along the way.
Waiting on various people and paperwork, waiting on funding, having to, find new funding. But right now it was, and for quite a while, it's just been that we've been waiting on a piece of paper, which is really sad. People end up getting really busy, and it's certainly not, the one person's fault or anything like that. It's been just a series of events, a series of unfortunate events that have kept us from opening the shelter earlier. Things that are completely out of our control. As we know in Muskoka, construction projects can take quite a bit longer than planned and originally, hoped for, and so it's just been a series of things. I think often people don't recognize just the seriousness of getting a shelter open in a district, and other things take precedence, things that pay more, that are seemingly more important. And we've been trying to get people to do things, and there's only so much we can do by asking repeatedly. And so it came down to one thing, but I think there's been a whole lot of things that have happened behind the scenes that we can guess at, and lots of bureaucracy and political stuff, and we can't take any part in that as a charity, and but it's been a lot of people and a lot of people trying to hinder us and slow us down, and it's been one thing after another. It's been absolutely exhausting.
A petition has been circulating online urging Huntsville Mayor Scott Aitchison to get the shelter open quickly. We reached out to Aitchison, who called us back from Mexico. He says a truly awful thing happened in our community, but there is a process in place which the town cannot interfere with legally.
I was devastated when I heard the news, and know full well that we'll never be able to work fast enough to solve this problem. We live in one of the richest countries in the history of the world, and there's no reason for anyone not to have a warm bed to sleep in. That said, this young man was well known to district housing and homelessness staff. They've been working with him in the past. He could have had a bed that night if he'd reached out to his support folks. That doesn't, excuse the fact that he didn't have his own bed to sleep in. We are working to try to get the table and shelter open. The challenge that we're facing there is making sure that that building and that facility comply with the Ontario Building Code and the Ontario Fire Code. It's important to know that the town of Huntsville doesn't write or approve or anything with the Ontario Fire Code or the Ontario Building Code. The fire chief and the chief building official of the town of Huntsville are responsible for enforcing that. And those are the two positions within our municipality that I, as mayor and council, cannot tell them how to do their job. We can't tell them not to enforce provincial regulations. That's against the law, as it should be. And so, we've been working, with Heather Berg and her team to try to make sure that they meet that code. And it's been a frustrating process. Heather is eager to have as many beds as possible, and I think that that's a noble and worthy effort. But at the end of the day, we have to make sure that it complies with all the provincial regulations. And she's resisted that. And so I want to work with her, but she needs to work with us as well.
Since JC's death, Berg says she's been working tirelessly to quicken this process.
It's just unfathomable that someone had to die in order to get the word out again that, hey, we need help right now. We need people to take this seriously. And, you know, we all could have done something more for JC, every one of us in the community, you know, and we can all do more than we're doing for those who are homeless still. You know, we don't want anyone else to die or to suffer the same death as JC did. So we're, I guess, using this opportunity and making sure that JC's death is not in vain by calling out to the community and saying, you know, now's the time. Please just finish what's necessary so we can get this open